Alright guys, welcome to another video on my channel, and this one is a new idea I had, and it is ranking spells from different Wiz schools on a tier list. So I made this tier list here. This has all of the life spells that are learnable, that you can actually train into your spell book. And the way that I'm going to be doing this tier list is I'm going to be taking into account the use, so how good the spell is, and also like taking into account what level you get it. So of course Imp is way worse than Centaur, but Imp for its level is not an awful spell. I'm also going to be kind of taking into account how good some of these spells are in PvP, and also to a lesser extent how cool the animation is, but it's mostly going to be how good is the spell, especially when you get it and in the future. And we're going to be going through this alphabetical. The way we do these tier lists is A is going to be average, okay, pretty decent spell. And of course tier list, as always, if you guys know what a tier list is, super, it's all my opinion. So you guys might move stuff around totally different. So this is just my opinion of the spells I use, the way I play the game. There are going to be some spells on here that I just have never used, and some I'm going to rank them a little bit lower because they're pretty useless. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I'm going to plan on doing all the other schools. I already have a few of them tier lists made up. And give me what you guys would change. So let's get into this with our first spell, which is Brilliant Light. 2 pips for 30 healing to all is pretty bad. Like, I'm going to put this at B. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't see, like, you usually don't have more than one healer on a team, so you really don't need a Brilliant Light. Like, you're just guiding light for 0 pips, one person. You don't need a Brilliant Light. No one else on my team is going to be healing but me. I don't need a Brilliant Light. It's just a waste of 2 pips in my opinion. It's not an awful spell, but it's pretty useless. Whatever. Alright, yeah. The reduced threat on target spells. Garbage. D tier. Oh, also let me add that the B and D, or the C and D is kind of messed up. I tried messing with it for a while. Just pretend that that's D and C. It's really stupid. But that's how it is. So C tier is what that is. Second to last. It's honestly, it might be just awful. 2 pips to reduce threat. I'm not even sure if these spells work that much. They're pretty bad. They're pretty darn bad. These spells should be 0 pips, and then they might be used more. All right, Centaur. Centaur is a pretty fucking good spell, and I like the animation. It's pretty cool. I'll put it in A. It's not amazing. It's not bad. 6 pips for 500 to 600 damage is not an awful amount, and it's a pretty solid spell. I use it a decent amount. All right, sacrifice minion for 450 health. This is not bad. It's definitely not good. I think this belongs with guiding light as like super niche. Again, you never summon minions, and if you do, sacrificing for heal is good, but why not just straight up do that heal for 1 more pip? I don't know. Alright, Dryad. B+. Because it's X pips. Lots of pips for heals is bad. You want to be able to spam your heals if you can. Dryad's not a good spell, unless you're going for Elixir Vitae. It looks pretty cool, I guess. It's like you can heal for a ton with it. But it's still not a great spell. I wouldn't use it that much, which is why it's going B+, because it's not terrible. It's not as bad as some of the other spells. It still isn't good. Alright, Entangle. Entangle, I think, it's pretty good. Take into account PvP. If you didn't do PvP, it's garbage. But if you take into account PvP, it's got to be A+. Dispelling Life? I mean, you can dispel a heal. That's pretty strong. It's kind of like better infection to an extent. That's why it's got to be A+. It's for 2 pips. That dispel is super strong. So that's where I'm putting it. Ferry, A+ as well. A strong heal. You have it for at least 20 levels. 2 pips for 420 healing is pretty good, if I do say so myself. And it's a boring animation, but it's a strong heal for almost any level, especially as a low level. Forest Lord. God, this is an S spell. This is the only AoE spell that life gets. So questing as a life, hitting as a life is tough. You have to get like the Morganth Jewel or you have to get a Kookaburra with Leaf Storm. But as far as like learned spells, Forest Lord's the only learned AoE spell that you get as a life. So it's got to be S. It has to be. It's so strong. Gnomes. Gnomes is a cool looking spell. It's not great. 9 pips. It does a decent amount of damage. 2 dispel. Life dispels is alright. Again, it's like super niche, but it's really cool looking. So I'm going to put it in B+. I love the way that like the gnomes jump into each other and create a big gnome. So that's why it's B+. Like I wouldn't use it a lot. There are better things to use. Like if I was to solo, the only time I think I'd ever use it might be maybe PvP against another life. But like, again, you're going to really set with gnomes for 9 pips when you rather just spam with 2 weavers. I don't know. I don't think it's great. Maybe I'd use it if I did when you do your spell quests and they tell you you're against another life, you might use it on that because you get the 2 dispels on them. But again, it's like, it's bad, but it's cool. Goat Monk. I actually don't have Goat Monk, only because it's pretty garbage. Which is why I'm putting B+. I think Centaur is better than it. I think Centaur is cooler looking. Centaur is easier to get, which means it's more accessible, it's better use. Goat Monk's cool, but it's not like amazing. I don't have to say, it's not a great spell, in my opinion. Oh shoot, Guardian Spirit, A+. Because again, taking into account PvP. Outside of PvP, kind of garbage. In PvP, super strong. It's up there. It does the same as Entangle. So I think it's a good spell, which is why I'm putting it in A+. Guidance. What a trash tier spell. I'm just gonna put it down here because I really don't like it. Again, my personal opinion, but I don't like it at all. I think it's a bad spell. And yeah, you can go down there with like Soothe or Calm, or whatever that stupid card is. And you guys can go down there with cards that I really wish would just not in my deck because I just take up room. Garbage. Alright, Guiding Light. A tier. Not great, not bad. It's basically a healing blade. But I'd rather put up like an aura. Like Cycle of Life is not in here because it's an astral spell. But Cycle of Life, good spell. And I think that Cycle of Life is way better, even though it's like, or Renew too, same thing. Even though it's 5 less alchemy healing, it's still way better. So that's why it's there. All right, Hungry Caterpillar. S or A+? Shoot. This is tough. S or A+? What do I pick? God, it's so strong. It's pretty cool looking. I also love the Darkmoor, the Shadow Infused spells. I'll put an S. Yeah, it hits for a lot. And that Absorb is ridiculous. And it looks pretty fucking cool. So that's why it's up there. And yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. It's super strong. In PvP, in solo fights, it's good. Imp. Imp has to be just B+ tier. Again, B+ tier is like spells that are pretty good, but just not great. Of course, if I was doing like overall, Imp's a garbage spell. It's 1 pip, does no damage. I think it's the least damage in the game. Frost Beetle maybe. But God, it's like, but as it like when you start out and you're getting Unicorn Way, Imp is not an awful spell. It doesn't kill a lot of the stuff there. You usually have to go to like Thunder Snake or something, Fire Cat to kill him. But Imp's not bad. It's pretty solid, but there are definitely better spells. Like it's the second you get Leprechaun, you use Leprechaun, and so Leprechaun will be higher in the list. King Art. King Art has to be A tier. It's good. 8 pips for 700 damage. It's not bad. Plus, it gives you that tick heal, which is solid. So I would say King Art is definitely up there. It's a pretty average spell. Again, I'd use it. King Art's a great spell to use when you're solo questing, when you're doing those solo bosses for your other spell or pet quests, stuff like that. King Art's a pretty solid spell. I'd have it in. I definitely have it in over Gnomes, because it does less damage, but it just seems like a better utility spell. Lamassu. God, do I hate this spell. I'll just put it in B+. I think the split spells are awful, but that's my opinion. I see where they can be good, because 4 pips and almost 1,000 damage and over 1,000 if it's enchanted is dummy good. But I just hate the nature of the split spells that like literally dividing it to 2 people is half the damage. I think that's not great. So that's why it's B+. It's also not like amazingly cool. It's just his laser eyes. So yeah, it's like not, again, it's not good, but it's not like awful. And I'm just putting it there because that's my personal opinion. All right, shield. The double shields. This one is not bad. There are definitely better ones. Like, I think the ice shield's by far the best. The fire in storm, 70%. But this one's not bad because it gives death shield. There are a lot of death minions in this game. B or B+? I don't really use it ever. I'm gonna go B. Unless you're really setting against, like, a death boss that does a lot of damage, you're not gonna use it. So I'm just, you know, it's B+. It's B. It's not great, but it's not awful. There are definitely better spells. And that's all I really have to say about that. Leprechaun, it's got to be A. The second you get Leprechaun, you get rid of him forever, because the Leprechaun is just actually a pretty good spell. I use it a lot when I was questing at a low level. You use it a ton. It's pretty solid, and it's a pretty cool spell the way he runs down on the rainbow. Classic spell, lots of memories with Leprechaun, lots of things I've killed with it. So yeah. Life Blade, A. Blades are always good. 40% blade. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a good spell. Blades are good. And they help a lot. Prism. Prisms are solid. This one, I'd say, is B+. Might even be B. When do you use single prisms ever? Especially as a life, you're not really hitting too much. I'll put it B. Fuck that prism. It's good. It's niche, again, like all that other stuff. Like, you would use... I think B is kind of like a niche pick. Is that's what I'm putting it at. I think it's not really useful. You only use it again in certain situations. Life Shield is niche, but less niche than everything else. It's garbage. Life doesn't even hit that hard. Why do you need a set shield for life? It's, you know, not great. Life Spear. It's got to be down here with D as well. Again, 10 pierce, really? Do I really care? No, I'll just put up King Art, or I'll just Shrike or something. It doesn't really matter. Infoul, anything. That's Pierce Blade in my ass. Alright, Life Trap. You get Life Trap really early, I think, right? I'm pretty sure you get Life Trap really early. Again, I'll just put in B+. It's not as good as a Blade, but it's still pretty solid. It helps. Extra damage, right? Yeah, there's nothing much to say. Weaver. God damn, did this spell good. A+. It has to be. Because it's better than Centaur, for sure. I use Weaver over Centaur all the time. And it's a pretty good amount of damage. 370 for 4 pips. And then you get a weakness. Good for PvP. Good for soloing. Just always good. I think Weaver's a really strong spell. As most Lore Master spells are. Minus Goat Monk. Fuck Goat Monk. Yeah. Mass Prism. Mass Prisms are always really good. I'm going to put Mass Prisms as A. Just because Mass Prisms, like Blades, always useful. Like, the ability to just convert against minions and not have to do one after another, or have to do a ton of pen, a ton of, like, you know, pierce or whatever, is super helpful for Mass Prisms. Mass Triage. That's gotta be B, right? Isn't that, say, niche? Super niche, you don't really use it. I don't know a lot of people that put on ticks. And again, ticks don't do that much damage. I'm not gonna use this. Alright, I'll still put it in B, though. It could be in the C kind of column, but God, is triage just kind of useless. All right, this Mega Calm. Why is this a spell? I don't think this is useful at all. This is fucking bottom tier. Look, if this one is X pips, are you serious? Why? Please make these King's Isle, if you listen to me. Please make these like 0 or 1 pipped. Make the 2 pip ones 0 pips. That might even be, it might be used at that point. And make the X pip ones 1 pip, because I don't know anybody who uses them. They're kind of bad. And there are a lot of pips for something that's, it doesn't have like numbers. Like, it just says you reduce the whatever, you taunted. It doesn't actually mean, it doesn't show anything. I feel like it does nothing. Minor Blessing. Kind of bad. Even when you get it. I mean, a 0 pip peel is not awful, but 65 is pretty bad, even when you get it. And it has a bad animation because it's just a little circle around you. I'm going to put it in B. It's definitely worse than these. But, yeah, it's not awful. It's kind of niche. It's kind of just a bad spell. I don't know. Alright, I think it's Namaste. I can't really see the names, but I'm pretty sure this is Namaste. Super niche. Would never use it. I maybe, like, sometimes. The Pierce and Crit's good, but, like, would I really waste 4 pips? I'd probably just put up a Shrike for 0 pips and a Blade for 0 pips and be fine. Yeah, it's not great. It's not awful, but not great. Nature's Wrath, B+. It's kind of bad animation, but it's a decent spell, and you use it a lot. You use it till you get Seraph. So it's definitely a good enough spell to use. Plus it being at 3 pips, once you get high enough level, you can basically use it first turn every time, even if you get a fail pip, if you get a good pip wand, so it's not awful. Alright, Pigsy. S fucking plus. If you thought Pigsy would go anywhere but S plus, then you obviously haven't played this game. Because Pigsy is so good. Is by far the best heal. I mean, you can look at some of the other heals. Healing everybody for 550 for 4 pips. I can get, you know, 2 rounds into the fight. Like, I can have 8 pips, right? And just back-to-back heal with Pigsy. For a ridiculous amount. So strong. With the good enchant, it's 700 per person. Plus my outgoing and then their incoming. And that is super good. And it's an alright animation. It's still my favorite. Don't love it, don't hate it. But I love the fact that it doesn't heal one person then the next person. It just heals everybody at the same time. And that's awesome. Pigsy, dummy good spell. S plus, of course. Alright, now we have Ferry. So everybody can get this. It's not... Life actually can't get this spell. Everybody else does. It's the counterpoint to... oh, no, it's Pigsy. It's the counterpoint to Ferry. Pixie. I almost said Pigsy. It's Pixie. It's the counterpoint to Ferry. I would put this in... It's not as good as Ferry because it doesn't heal whoever you want, but everybody gets it, and it's a pretty solid heal. I would B plus or... I want to put it in B plus. It could be an A as well. It's just a basic heal that anybody can use. So it's solid, but it's nothing special. It's not as good as Ferry, which is like a pretty solid heal for everybody. Alright, Rebirth. S tier. Rebirth's really good. I keep Pigsies in my deck most of the time. If I'm going against a pretty harder boss, I'll put a Rebirth or 2 in. Because Rebirth is less, I think it's less per heal. It's less per pip heal than Pigsy, of course. Because 3 more pips and only 100 more healing. But it gives that Absorb. And I love the 7 pip spells. Like, that's, you know, that's when I started playing, was when 7 pip spells were the best spell in the game, and I love the 7 pip spells. So Rebirth has a special place in my heart. Again, it's my list, so I can do what I want. But I would say Rebirth is S tier. It's very good, and it's awesome. Regenerate. Fucking B tier. Boring. Niche. I guess it heals for a lot, don't get me wrong. For 5 pips, that's a lot of healing. But I never use it, because the tick, and it's only 1 person, and I'd rather just Satyr myself for 1 less pip. Even though it's less healing overall. Not a great spell, in my opinion. Which is why it's niche. Again, it's going to be something I use maybe once in a while. But that's it. Alright, Sacred Charge. I don't have this spell. I kind of want to farm it, but Aphrodite's really annoying to farm. But it's, you know, 500 damage and a 250 shield for 5 pips is pretty good. And I like that it uses 2 other life spells. It's just really hard to get, which is why it's not higher up. Like even Lore Master spells are way easier. First you farm Lore Master, which is super easy, or you can craft them, which is pretty easy as well. Or you can open packs to get most of them. 3 ways to get them. Sacred Charge, 1 way. And a stupid annoying boss. It's not even like Catch of the Day, which is an easy boss. This Aphrodite's stupid. It's annoying. It's not fun to fight. But yeah, it's a good spell. I like the animation. It's pretty cool. Sanctuary. It's very good. But I wouldn't put it anywhere above A. 50% outgoing healing for all is just really strong. It seems like it's better in fights when, you know, long fights like Darkmoor or something that you want a lot of healing, you can just spam heals. Or you know, if you could change the bubble and like Titan's, the Trident, the Storm Titan boss. Stuff like that, you know, longer fights where they do a lot of damage to you is where Sanctuary really stands out. But then there are fights that you can't change the bubbles. Fights where you, like PvP, you giving yourself 50% is great, right? But now the other team has 50% healing too. So stuff like that's kind of like, yeah. Again, it's a good spell. It's cool. It's awesome. It's helpful, but not amazing. Satyr has got to be up here with Ferry. It's very good. A+. And plus, anybody can learn it if they want to train in a life school. But 4 pips is a lot for a heal if you don't have a mastery. So I'd say lifes or life mastery is where you really want to use Satyr. But it's a good spell, and it does a lot of healing, and it was like one of the main heals for a while. So, yeah, Satyr's awesome. Sign of Life. Fucking D tier. I hate this spell. With a passion. With a passion. I've never once casted it. Not even as a meme. It's really bad. And anybody who thinks that it's not bad has never played as a life wizard at a higher level before. Either PvE or PvP. It's garbage. When am I ever going to need to use 11 pips to cast a heal on one person? Honestly, if it was a heal all, we're talking differently. But God, is it a bad spell? 11 pips. For that, I could cast 3 Pigsies, basically, right? Let's pretend I don't get fail pips or whatever, right? I can cast 3 Pigsies. So that heals everybody for... it just doesn't make any sense. If this was less pips, if it was heals all, then it might be decent, but it's just... I'm never going to waste that many pips on a heal on one person. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Because then, what if I heal one person, the rest of my team needs healing? It just makes no sense. I don't get it. It's a lot. It's a waste. It's a dumb spell. It's a dumb spell. Alright. Seraph. I'm going to put Seraph in A+. Something about Seraph is just really good. Like, it just stands out above Leprechaun and Centaur. I don't know why. I think you hold on to Seraph for a while. And you can also hit first turn with it. Because I think you get Seraph like pretty low and you get Centaur, 10 levels. I feel like I use Seraph a lot to hit. And you can use it right off the bat. It can be the first spell you use. It's just Seraph. Does a lot of damage. It only gets really replaced by Weaver, which is why I'm kind of cautioning putting it the same line as Weaver, because Weaver is better. But at the same time, Weaver's a lot harder to get. So Seraph is just accessible to everybody. A lot of good damage for life, which life doesn't get a lot. So that's good. Sir Benevive is pretty bad. I'm going to put him in B. I just never use him. 5 pips to summon a minion. Cool idea, but they're not great. The other minions are better. So I'm just going to leave him in B. He's not great. Spiny. I feel like I want to put Spiny in B or B+. Because I never... 10 pips for hit one person as a tick is not great. Where is it compared to gnomes? Is where I'm trying to put. Is it better or worse than gnomes? I think it's worse. I don't like... So... if I'm going to use a feint, I want to have a huge initial hit. And then, because then that feint will get taken on the initial hit. If I use a feint for something like Rain of Fire, which does like low damage but high tick, that feint's useless on the initial hit. It's going to do barely more, percentage-wise, math-wise. So something like Spiny, you can't really set up for. You want a lot of blades and a lot of traps. I don't know. I don't like Spiny. It's a lot of damage for ticks. Not me. Alright, armor. I don't really use this, and it's pretty bad. I'm going to put in B. Like niche stuff that I never use. I can see where it might be good. 3 pips is not awful for a 400 health, for a 400 shield. But for 3 pips, you can almost cast Satyr, which does double the healing. If you, I don't know. It's not great. I might even move it down to C tier. I just never use it. It's not really worth it. It's really not worth it. For 2 more pips, you can cast Sacred Charge. I don't know. It just doesn't seem that great for me. Whatever. This minion. I'm going to be honest. I think this minion is really good in low-level PvP. But I don't low-level PvP with life. I'm going to be... I'm going to put it in B+, because this is my tier list. I heard it's really good in low-level PvP, but I don't low-level PvP, so I don't know where that goes. So I'm just going to put it there, in B+. And because, it's helpful, and it heals you a lot, and it does some damage, but I never really use it, so I'm going to put it here with the rest of them. Sprite is D tier. It's useless. Well, I think you get Sprite after you get Ferry. Because you can literally get Ferry and Unicorn Way. Like, Unicorn Way is really short. So why would I ever use Sprite? It does less healing. It's 1 pip. I don't know. I don't like tick stuff. Ticks are bad. They're not good. There are certain times when they're good. Certain bosses are very good with ticks. PvP is good with ticks. But, I don't know. It's not great. I'm not going to use it. I'd much rather just use a Ferry for 1 pip. But that's me. 1-person triage. This would be garbage if it wasn't 0 pips. So because it's 0 pips, I'll put it in C tier. It's still bad though, isn't it? I mean, come on. It's still bad. I don't know if I ever use it. I feel like mass triage is definitely better because it's mass. When am I ever going to take a triage off? Like, I don't know. It seems... It's 0 pips, so it's not bad, but it's just dumb. Unicorn is A tier. It's very good, but it's not as good. 275 is not bad. Basically, it's good until you get Pigsy or Rebirth, but those are way better. Like, way better. So, yeah. I don't know. I never use Unicorn. It's kind of garbage. I used to all the time. It was an amazing spell because it's low pips. Look, low pips heal alls are the best, which is why Pigsy's really strong. And Unicorn's really good too, so until you get Pigsy. But it's just a good heal spell. Like, it's just good. It's not great. It's not awful. The animation's not as special, so yeah. And our last spell, Interracial Birds. I don't know what to do with this spell because on one hand, it's terrible, and on the other hand, it's really bad. And it's not like the animation's not special. Put it in D tier? Is it that bad? I feel bad putting it in D tier, don't I? Sorry, birds. You're going in D tier. Because tick damage and tick heals are kind of meh. It's just a weird spell. I don't like it. I don't think it's that good at all. I don't know when I think the only time we ever used it was like for the memes when we did Rasputin because it came out in Polaris. And Rasputin, like you need to kill his Aethers with like 1 damage. So I just randomly cast a spell for the memes because it would do 1 damage and it would heal us. But like, it's pretty bad. I don't know when I'd ever use this. I wish it was just a straight heal and no tick. A 6 pip. Oh, that would be so good. A 6 pip heal all spell with the shadow. Oh my god, that could have been so good. Even a 6 pip heal all spell with a tick with that shadow. But come on, this spell's awful. 500 damage and 500 healing to everybody over 3 rounds. That's awful. It's bad. Please don't ever use this spell. But with that all being said, this is the end of my life spell card tier list. Let me know if you like this. I plan on doing them for all the other schools as well. And again, I apologize about the D and C messing up. I tried for a good 10 minutes to try to fix that, but I was just like, fuck it, we're going ahead. But yeah, this is what my tier list looks like. I'm gonna be doing these for other schools. Let me know if there's anything that you would want to change. If there's, what spells do you think deserve to be higher or lower? Again, this is my opinion. And life is the school that I know most about, but I will try to do the other ones as well. Maybe I'll get some of my friends who've played those characters to help me out with those. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been it's been Eric, and have a great day. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.